originally. I've lived in Vernon for close to 18 years.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But I'm up in North Shore. I'm near Manchester by the sea and down here in Rockport area.
Rockport is my favorite place in the
Oh,
world.
that's so
Of
nice.
all the places I've been.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love it up there.
It's really nice. It's beautiful. It's right in the
I
water.
was out of home. My kids go to school up there.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Sam.
I'll say one speak.
How are you? Is this your first time coming here?
Yeah, we're in
Different office, right?
this
This is Danae.
Hi.
Samantha.
Sam, nice to meet you.
Hi, Sam. It's Chris Hill. Good to see you. How are you?
Good.
Well, please have a seat.
It's not about pounds and what we do. It's more about like what happens to the patients that take the time to like put in the work
Right.
to figure themselves out and crack the code.
Yeah.
And once they've like done that, this is the outcome.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, will there be some obstacles like Rhode Island, you know, vacations or trips to Michigan? Yeah, there are obstacles, but you know what? It's not like you start spiraling out of control. It's like you catch yourself before it just all goes to like a disaster all over again.
It's all mental. I would say at the end of the day, you're in your head, like we were saying, if you think you're going to fail that math test, you are absolutely going to fail that math test. And sometimes it's like getting out of your own way, getting out of your own head. I've actually found journaling to be really helpful. Especially, so I struggled with binge eating, and I did really well for a while when we first met, and then I had a few times where it happened, and I wrote down like how I felt, I wrote down what I ate, and then, you know, I went back to it a few days later, and being able to kind of read that and process how I felt then, and how I was feeling while I was reading it was really helpful. So I started kind of, you know, I don't journal every day. Sometimes I journal a lot. Sometimes like I'll go for weeks without it. But either way, it's so interesting to go back and see what I wrote and how I felt. How was my energy? What did I eat? What did I say about myself that day? What was I thankful for? What was I not so thankful for? You know, just it was something that I've never really done before. But I think that there's like a major importance in that. And you know, there's so many different, you could do it on your phone, but for me, physically handwriting it.
The process of writing it down. That's very powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, and just write about it. No one's going to read it. It's only for you. And if you want to share it, you can. And if not, then don't. And then sometimes it's humorous when I go back and read. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like talk about being dramatic. Like, you know, and with your hormones too. Like, was I hungry during the week before my period or after my period? And stuff like that. It's a very helpful tool.
Are there certain other techniques that you use, Danae, just to kind of check yourself and keep on track?
When is my next appointment?
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
That's interesting. I never think about that.
So I'm actually going to see Dr. Cable on Monday.
Interesting.
No way, really?
Yes.
And that's a motivational factor for you, obviously.
It is, because I was just away last week, and I traveled this week for work, so I travel for work, right? And so those are the days that I find it hardest to stay on track.
Interesting.
If I'm planning and I have my snacks in my bag, or you know, whatever it is, it's somebody wants to go out to dinner or this or that. So if I say to myself, I'll see Dr. Cable on Monday, you know, it's like, okay, so it's simple. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have brunch and we'll do yogurt parfaits. Okay, well I'm not gonna eat your yogurt that has 40 grams of sugar.
Yes.
Right.
I'm gonna bring my own yogurt that is protein heavy, and you know, so it's a simple swap. Making swaps, right? Talk about pizza. I have now like 3 different options for when it's pizza night at my house, because I am also a cook, and I make my pizza dough from scratch and all of that. So it's like, well, if I'm already making that one from scratch, I can just make this one too. And So just finding the workarounds to be in control of what I'm doing.
You're also, I think, key on something that I find like it's like a life hack, and I really like it.
Like I went out for dinner with one of my friends last week, and that could have gone many different ways. I could have had drinks, I could have gotten something carb heavy, but I decided, like, you know what, no, I kind of haven't been the greatest with everything. I think something high in protein, load up on the veggies would be best for me. And the thing that could be challenging is like, sometimes people be like, oh, you're gonna just eat that, or why don't you just eat this? And it's like, because it's what I want to eat. I'm choosing this to eat this.
Right.
And you know, birthday party, any sort of, like, our social life is revolved around food and drinks, I feel like.
I mean, it's the same energy, but it's directed towards the outcome that you're looking for. And it sounds like a win-win, which is kind of interesting.
And I think, you know, just in general in society, we crave a sense of community, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
It's like community centers exist for a reason. You know, whatever your you know thing is, it's life. How do you do this on your own? And as a mom, I couldn't do it on my own. So why is this any different, right? This is something that many other people are on this journey together, and if we can support one another, that's great. And I think doing it, you know, virtually is huge, because when you have a busy schedule, you work full time, you have kids, you do this, you do that, it's a lot harder to get up and go somewhere versus like take my laptop and go in my bedroom and shut the door.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just curious. And I think physicians by nature are curious. I think people, like, if you have curiosity, then you're going to want to look at ways to do things that are different than traditional.
Sure.
So I don't think anybody's going to resolve or solve the problem of abnormal weight gain through apps and you know, telemedicine appointments. I think you have to come in and have a body composition and sit down and have connection with another, you know, human, another soul.
Sure.
But I think that as people become more comfortable with the treatment plan, that something like this, where you can be remote, where you can put your computer on, you definitely can leverage that kind of treatment modality. And I think because, again, curiosity, I'm here and I learn from my patients, but what I'm hearing is really useful for them now is accountability. And when you're a member of a tribe, or when you've got a group community that you're expected to show up, you're holding yourself accountable because you're in a group. And I think that, like with telemedicine and where we are post-pandemic, there's a sense of accountability that goes into these appointments. I think that these kind of wellness circles, I hope they take off, because I think there is a lot of utility there. Because people will be holding themselves accountable, show up for that wellness circle, you know? And it would be an important behavior, because if you get something out of it, which I hope people would do, it's a positive sort of reward, and so the experience will want to be repeated.
Often in many aspects of life, for me at least, I'm like, am I the only one that feels this way? Am I the only one struggling, you know, like just to get out of bed sometimes, or to do this or that? But then when you talk about it in safe places like this, you realize, oh, I'm not the only one like making these swaps, and the only one like planning this.
And then all of a sudden, I'm in a group environment. They turn the lights down, they put the music up, and we just go. And it goes like, an hour goes like that. And I realized that being in a group environment with like-minded folks, you know, for whatever reason, it's more than just a workout. It's like, wow, it's motivational, it's there, it's inspirational, and the time goes by very quickly.
There's so many metrics that are measured when you step on the scale, and you're going to be like, well, your weight is up, but your percent body fat is down.
It's a different.
So you're actually healthier today. And so now I maybe don't feel so horrible that my weight is up, because, you know, talking about things that stick, you know, you say your weight is the cover of the book, but you have to get into the chapters.
I came to a point in my journey where what I was doing, I could not do anymore.
We're coming to the close a little bit, and I want to give you guys an opportunity. You know, what is some of the advice that you would give to Charlie or to the medical community?
I know how many patients are in all three of your offices, right? But I don't feel like just like another patient when I'm with him. I know that, you know, he is looking at me specifically, my composition specifically, my lab results specifically, not just, oh, you are classified as obese and this and this and this, so you're gonna get what that other obese person gets, and now your BMI is this, so now you're gonna fall into that. No, I've never felt that way.
Why do you think other physicians aren't doing this?
I think it comes down to money. I think that other doctors wanna just prescribe something to you right away, like, okay, you have high blood pressure, here's some medicine, but they really truly dig deep, and I don't think a lot of other doctors necessarily do that.
Today, as we finish up here, what are your recommendations to the medical community?
You know, I don't think my other doctors have that kind of personal knowledge of me because, you know, it factors into what I'm able to do to be successful as a patient here and just in my life in general. So be an advocate for yourself, find the right doctor, the doctor that is going to care about you, the doctor that's going to look at all the parts and pieces and understand what you need medically as an individual, but then ask you how you're sleeping and how's your stress. So.
You guys showed a lot of guts to be part of the initial episode of SindyXR TV. To walk through the door and to share your story and how you felt then and then maybe how you feel now about showing it. I mean, what was your thought process before and how do you feel now that you've shared some of your story with not just us, with a lot of people?
I don't really know like what I'm getting myself into, but I was like, I trust this doctor, and you know, I participated in a few other things that I was invited to, and I was like, I feel a little bit honored actually. I'm like, I'm excited to do this. You know, I like to share my stories, and I never thought that I would be in my life where I am today, health-wise. Yeah. And so I definitely have that mindset of like, if I could do it, anybody can do it. Like,
I have told so many people about my success here that it actually feels like I can maybe just play them this clip now. Myself, but
Excellent.
no, I think it's always great when we can learn from one another, and you know, there's different health conditions that come with a lot of stigma around them, and I think obesity could very easily be put in that category.
Sure.
If people don't understand the reasoning behind their condition, you know, they're never going to overcome it.
Yeah.
And trying to take away a little bit of that stigma of you're not the only person like this, and there are special doctors that can help you with this.
Yeah.
So I think that is important, and I tend to try to not be nervous about this stuff.
Sure. Very impressive.
Once you do it, then you don't have to be afraid of doing it again. So
I know we've done it now on telehealth, now in person, and eventually in virtual reality, but your thoughts, sir, as we finish up.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where I learned a lot, you know, from you guys. It's so interesting to hear them, you know, the patients talk like this without me wearing my doctor's hat.
Yeah.
Because again, I just learned things that I never would have been able to really appreciate if it was in a session. Like you get a bit of a pull when you go to eat something and people are like, oh, are you dieting? Like, think about what happens to me when I go to somebody's house to eat something. And it's just really funny to
he's
hear that.
judging us. I know he's judging us.
Oh my God, it's so funny to hear that. Like, you feel judged in a social situation. And it's like, man, I like touch a beer or a piece of spaghetti at a table, like, oh, he's eating it.
Well, it's like, it's okay. I guess it's okay.
Yeah. It just makes you feel good that they want to, you know, impact people, which they will do from this.
Yep.
And that's really cool. I think people are going to hear what Danae and Sam were able to say and run a parallel sort of story and say, yeah, that's happened to me, or I felt that way, or I might have this issue.
Yeah.
And they might have enough curiosity to go out and find an answer for themselves. And that's powerful.